Everybody's favorite blue hedgehog is back on a new adventure against a familiar foe, but with some new friends in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Directed by Jeff Fowler, who directed the first Sonic movie, and all your favorites have returned. Ben Schwartz, who voices the blue hedgehog Sonic. He's got to go fast, he loves chili dogs, and he has almost as many wisecracks in his bag as he has rings. And man, those rings, goddamn, that sounds such nostalgia from the video games. But also, James Marsden and Tika Sumpter return as the married couple Tom and Maddie. And man, it's really, really great when they get more people back. They don't have to recast people like Jim Carrey coming back as Dr. Robotnik. They had to get Jim Carrey back, and I'm so happy they did. But we have new characters. Not new if you know anything about the video games. Literally anything about the video games. You have Tails, the one with two tails that spins around and does a whole bunch of stuff. Voiced by Colleen O'Shaughnessy. And seeing pictures of her, I refuse to believe she is 50 years old. I'm assuming that she has consumed blood of the innocent because she doesn't look a day over 30. But anyway, Idris Elba voices Knuckles, the Red Echidna. I always get that wrong, and I'm pretty certain I will probably mispronounce it a few times. But he's the Red Echidna that loves to fist and pound and everything. And boy, fisting and pounding in a kid's movie. What the hell is Paramount doing? So, when I reviewed the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I didn't expect to like it as much. Because, of course, when they first showed how Sonic looked, you know, the human eyes and everything, not the big eyes like in the video game, everybody freaked out. Paramount may have leaked that just as a way to get, you know, just to get some attention and realize, don't worry, we'll fix it in post. Fuck it, we'll fix it in post. And they did, and it actually turned out to be pretty crowd-pleasing, but not great. I originally gave it a B-, might have rounded off to a B because it was entertaining, but it also felt like the first of what could possibly be a franchise. It was a smash success, despite the fact that the pandemic did hit a bit after Sonic the Hedgehog got into theaters. And now that movie theaters are opening back up more and more movies are gaining a whole lot of steam, and some aren't exactly getting the biggest box office returns, but they're getting enough of a return to where we get movies like this. And I was leery when I saw, after seeing that the first one was maybe 90 to 95 minutes tops, and this one was just over 2 hours. I was a little bit nervous because I'm thinking, okay, are they going to strike gold? Are they going to do as good as the first one? Is it going to be like A Quiet Place Part 2? What is it going to be? What kind of sequel is this going to be? And I'm happy to report that this is way, 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 way better than the first one. Now, I'm not saying that the first one was bad. Upon rewatching it, I probably should have been a little kinder to it. But that being said, it wasn't the greatest thing ever. It did, again, feel like a lot of setup, and now it felt like this was a lot more polished, where if you don't see the first one, you're not exactly going to get the relationship stuff, so you absolutely should see the first one. But seeing that and then seeing this is one of the best sequels that they've done in a while. Paramount has struck a gold mine with this if they do this right. Apparently, they're planning to do a Knuckles series, and they've already greenlit Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Now, I'm all for it, and I will get into spoilers here in a little bit, but this is the fullest theater that I've been part of since I saw Star Wars Episode 9, because no, I did not see Spider-Man, the latest Spider-Man movie. I did not see the latest Batman movie, because I was trying to stay away. I was trying to stay away from big crowds. Also, I'm kind of superheroed out. So when I see movies, usually there's some people, but not a ton. It's spring break around here, and I didn't realize that until I got to the theater. Now I got my ticket ahead of time, so I had a back row seat, like I always try to get. But I sat there and had a blast. There were a lot of kids, a lot of fucking kids there, but they were popping on everything. Everybody was popping on everything. And this was written by Pat Casey and Josh Miller, who did write the first Sonic movie, and also Josh Whittington, who wrote the Lego Batman movie. And you could absolutely tell that there was some good humor from the Lego movies packed into this. The writing was crisp. The action was great. Yes, of course, there were a whole lot of special effects. It's about a blue hedgehog, a two-tailed fox, and a red echidna. Whatever. A giant red creature likes to fist. And also it had Jim Carrey with the massive mustache. And Jim Carrey was hamming it up here. If anything, I think that Idris Elba's character, Knuckles, absolutely stole the show here. So it's like a 1-2 punch. Jim Carrey was great, as you would expect with something like this, because he's going to be phenomenal in something like this. He carried the first one, and he thankfully had more people to help him shoulder the load this time. Now, the runtime, again, did have me worried. It turns out that it actually was not all that bad. At 2 hours, I think 2 hours and 2 minutes with a really, really good mid-credit scene hook that I will save for the spoilers, but make sure you don't immediately get up, wait around for the mid-credits, and then get going. It just has this crowd-pleasing feel where everybody's popping, and like when I saw that, I'm like, ho, 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 okay, they've struck some gold here. So what's the plot? Well, Sonic is left at home alone after Tom and Maddie go to Hawaii to be part of Maddie's sister's Rachel's wedding. And Sherman Moore, I believe that's his name, the buff bald guy from Criminal Minds, who looks like he lives in the gym and apparently doesn't age because he looks the same that he did in early seasons of Criminal Minds and does now. And I mean, I know the Hollywood magic and whatever, but seriously, the guy lives in the fucking gym. Anyway, they're in Hawaii, and basically Sonic is just having fun. Well, meanwhile, Robotnik is still on the Mushroom Planet and then gets, besieged by a few people, by a few soldiers. They're trying to get at him. And then, through one of those ring portals, because you throw the ring, it does the portal thing and whatever. And then Knuckles shows up. And Knuckles and Robotnik decide to pair up because they're going to get the Chaos Emerald. Yes, the big Chaos Emerald, the big glowing green thing. That has absolute power. And then, of course, Tails had shown up at the end of the first one. And now we have Tails and Sonic. They're trying to get the Chaos Emerald while Tom and Maddie are in Hawaii. And Knuckles and Robotnik have an uneasy alliance. But once Robotnik gets his help, to help him out, basically. I was trying to find the proper word and was kind of screwing that up there. His support system, shall we say, in the form of a guy working at a coffee shop, his lone henchman. That was the word I was searching for. Moving on. He gets his stuff back as Robotniks, as it were, and they go on to go to Siberia and a whole bunch of other places, and they just have a blast, blowing a lot of shit up and doing a lot of great things, and having a lot of wisecracks in the case of Sonic and also Knuckles, because they kind of portray Knuckles as just a big, dumb idiot, which actually fits for the character because he's so goddamn strong. He doesn't really need to be smart. He just needs to hit things. So the thing about this movie is it's way better than it had any right to be. There's no reason this movie should have been as entertaining as it was. Same goes for the first one. But it could have had something to do with me being in a full theater. It could have just had something to do with the fact that I just wanted something crowd-pleasing. And I wasn't sure how to take this, and pretty much from the beginning, it was just a lot of fun. Great stuff. Ben Schwartz, bring him back 100% for Sonic 3. Keep bringing the other people back. Keep throwing money at this. I mean, don't throw, like $200 million. I think that'd be a real mistake. But keep throwing money at this stuff. And I think Paramount may have a fucking gold mine of a series here. Because they can get a lot of shit out of this. They can do some. Now, once they get into other characters outside of, maybe one or two more, it's going to get a little bit weird. But it's definitely going to be something they could, just milk for all it's worth. And if they do the right thing, keep getting Jeff Fowler, keep getting the right writers. Get these three writers together, and they may actually have something just as good for the third one as they did for this. So, they do touch on some video game stuff, like how Sonic doesn't really like water. Knuckles is an idiot. Robotnik's insane. Tails is, very inventive with all, the devices and stuff like that. And we just get the usual adventure and a whole lot of stuff. But it's just really, really a lot of goddamn fun and a lot more enjoyable than I anticipated. Now, it is time to get into spoilers, though. But absolutely 100% go see this movie. If you liked the first one, you're going to love this one. Runtime didn't really affect it. I loved it. I fucking loved it. 3, 2, 1, spoilers! Okay, so spoilers. So basically, in the beginning, Robotnik besieged by Knuckles and him go off on this adventure. And Sonic ends up, basically having to have a heart-to-heart with Tom after he stops, a stolen armored truck in Seattle and causes a bunch of destruction to a particular city block and kind of shows the ineptness of, certain police department, which I live near, or it's like I live 40 miles north of Seattle. Let me tell you right now, police work hard. They are not wrong with how desolate and how piece of shit, how much of a shithole Seattle kind of is. It looks good until you're there for about more than 4 goddamn hours. And don't visit the wrong parts of Seattle. But anyway, he has to have a heart-to-heart. Tom basically tells him, hey, a hero does things for others, not just for himself. Paraphrasing there. And they go off on their adventure. And then Sonic finds out, that Robotnik is back. He's going to get Robotnik. Nope. Knuckles is here. And Knuckles is a lot stronger than him. And it turns out that Knuckles and Sonic, they are, they're people who are kind of at war because you have, the owl that took care of Sonic to begin with. That race and the Echidnas were all always having, a war. And they were having a war over the Chaos Emerald. And they were like, we're going to keep doing this and fighting and everything until we get what we want. And then it turns out they actually do have a common enemy because, of course, Robotnik ends up screwing over Knuckles at one point. Of course he fucking does, because he wants to get the Chaos Emerald and have absolute power. And they do the plane scene where Tails, has the plane, Sonic's on there, and you gotta evade the stuff because Robotnik ends up getting the Chaos Emerald, going insane with the power and stuff like that, and doing his own thing and getting a bunch of metal together and building the giant Robotnik, Megazord, essentially, that you have to bounce on and destroy by hitting it in the head and going around and beating up the body. You basically have to just do that and just bounce, and guts to go fast. There's also a cool snowboarding scene when they were in Siberia that was a lot of fun, much more than it was in Sonic, versus Mario, the Olympic Games. That game was really hard to control. And they also do have a lot of songs. They have This Is How We Do. They have a lot of songs in there. They even have Barracuda by Heart, Still Wild, that I got to see them in concert about 2.5 years ago. They have a lot of cool music and a lot of fun, a lot of wisecracks, the chili dogs and all that stuff. They have a lot of really great crowd-pleasing stuff and a lot of video game references, as you would expect. They have the temple that, you have to race through to get to the Chaos Emerald and all the traps and all that. The spoiler section is kind of just where I'm just running off of this stuff in my head, because usually if I watch a movie at home, I can take more detailed notes. But I'm just running through some of the stuff in my head. Jim Carrey delivering a great goddamn performance with a lot of great wisecracks. He really, really was having a blast here. And sure, okay, was he hamming it up? Yes, it's a Sonic movie, and he's playing a character called Dr. Robotnik, who's bald with a weird mustache that has an unlimited supply of robots and whatever, and little droids and little stuff. And it's not meant to be taken seriously. Now, again, where this movie gets it right in comparison to the first one is, again, this feels more polished. But obviously, Knuckles and Sonic end up teaming up because Knuckles is pinned down underneath some rubble after this temple explodes because Robotnik gets the emerald. Tails is down at one point after Sonic and Tails burst through this one lone ring that's left, and they get to the way and a whole bunch of snow comes on this, wedding reception in Hawaii. It turns out that Rachel's fiance is actually part of a government agency with the initials GUN. No, really. And they capture Sonic and Tails for just a little bit, and then they don't because Maddie and Rachel's mad because she feels betrayed, and her sister team up to basically rescue Sonic because Tom got captured as well, and Tails. But Tails is injured, and Sonic has to basically race through all this water that's rising up like crazy, get to this temple. And then after Robotnik gets the Chaos Emerald, Knuckles is betrayed. Knuckles is pinned down. Sonic actually gets the bubble. They get the bubble thing that you got to breathe to keep underwater. And they don't play the music countdown, which haunts me to this day. They don't. That still haunts me to this day. He rescues Knuckles, and then Knuckles ends up rescuing him, because Sonic is weakened after helping him lift that up. They come to an agreement. They take down Robotnik, and basically the Chaos Emerald ends up getting thrown out of Robotnik's chest because it's like part of him, and then basically it shatters, and there's all these emeralds that form the Chaos Emerald. 7 emeralds of various colors. And Sonic becomes Gold Sonic. I actually forget the name of it exactly offhand. I apologize. Haven't played the video games in a while. He ends up basically destroying Robotnik's, mech suit, mech deal. Tom and Maddie end up, basically being there. They were trying to rescue him, and then this happens. And he's all gold and whatever. And then one of the funniest things at the end. He says, And Knuckles says, don't touch him or you'll be exploded. He's not the Sonic you once knew. And then he summons from this cloud a chili dog and eats it. And then summons another one and hits Knuckles in the face and does all this stuff. He's like, I take that back. He's exactly the Sonic you once knew. The Knuckles lines were great. They were really, really fucking great. Idris Elba fucking nailed this. And then they can't find Robotnik, but he's probably buried under all that rubble. They'll probably reveal that like somehow he managed to get away. And then the emeralds are sent back up into the sky, sent back up into one of the other worlds because Sonic wasn't ready for all that power, but he used it to destroy or to take down Robotnik. And then they're all teaming up and everything. They've decided to come to an agreement. They have a little baseball game, and Knuckles is like having fun trying to be like, this inept goof that's really, really strong. And then that's the end. Mid-credit sequence. Basically, the military that were there were talking. Well, we found a secret hidden file or whatever about, a lab that was, an experiment that was from about 50 years ago. And they show this, and I'm like, oh, are they going to do it? Shadow the Hedgehog. They're bringing Shadow in for number 3. And that was pretty much the sound throughout the entire thing. Everybody just blew. They were having fun. Everybody just had a whole lot of fun there. It's again not perfect. Does it kind of retread the same ground? Yes. But is it a crowd pleaser? Of course it is. It's a fucking crowd pleaser. I'm giving it an A. Maybe that's a bit high. I'm giving it an A because it was really, really goddamn good. I really had a blast watching Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.